we're going to start with what I call the origin of authority, and I'm going to show you how things got so messed up. And if you think the world is a mess, let me tell you where it all started. It wasn't supposed to be this way, but it is that way. This is the world we've been born into, and it's better that we come to grips with it. You know, you could, I mean, this is just being a good steward, a good student. You can sit around and wish things weren't the way they were and cry and moan about it. Or we can say, you know what, how did things get this way? And is there an answer? And where do we go from here? Well, let me show you. All authority comes from God. And in the beginning, Genesis chapter 1, Genesis 1, He created the earth, and we see the entire creation process. He created the earth, He created the heavens, He created the stars, the day and night, He created the oceans, He created the dry land, the plants and the animals, and then He created man and woman. That was the jewel of His creation. In fact, He did all of these things so that He could put mankind here and give humans a place to grow and multiply so He could have a family. So here's what He said in Genesis 1:26. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. That's important. Give them dominion or authority over every living thing and all the earth. We have had authority on the earth. And then God created them in His own image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. And God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over every living thing that moves on the earth. And so God explained this to Adam and Eve, that they were given the earth as their own domain to live and to enjoy the fruit of the earth, to subdue it, to develop it, and to have a family. He wanted them to be fruitful and multiply. He wanted the human race to grow, and it has, thank God. But He gave them dominion, or the right to exercise power. And that's what authority is. It's the right to exercise power. So in other words, what they said goes. They were the ultimate authority on the earth. God turned it over to them. And so from that time forward, God's not going to come down and make things happen and be hands-on about every detail of the earth. He put it in Adam's hands, Adam and Eve. They were to make decisions. They had authority. They could decide what goes where and who does what. It's like He created the planet and He gave Adam and Eve a lease, and He made them responsible, or He gave it to them and put it under their domain, under their authority. He leased it out, and it was intended to be for a certain amount of time. Any lease has space and time. It's limited. It's not unlimited authority. Doesn't exist everywhere, but there is a time and a space where Adam's and Eve's authority was the rule of law. And that happened to be, God said, the planet, over all the animals, over all the plants, and over all the earth. I'm giving you authority to take dominion. And so He transferred that to Adam and Eve. It was theirs, and it had its limits. The limits were the earth. And the Bible even talks about how the heavens is God's, but the earth He's given to the sons of men. So if you could see life on earth from the beginning to now, it's a certain lease. There's a certain time limit on that lease. And so here in Psalm 8:3 it says, when I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars which you have ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you visit him? You have made him, mankind, a little lower than angels, and the word for angels is God. So you've made him a little lower than God, and you have crowned him with glory and honor, and you've made him, mankind, to have dominion over the works of your hands. And you have put all things under his feet. That means humankind, all sheep and oxen, the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, that pass through the paths of the sea. So what he's saying is he's made man a little lower than God. He's put us as his representatives on earth when he made Adam and Eve. Psalm 115:16 talks about the space, the limits of this lease or this authority. It says, the heaven, even the heavens, are the Lord's, but the earth he's given to the children of men. So God exercises authority in heaven, outer space, and we exercise authority on earth. So this is God's original plan. This was his original design, is that he gave us this lease. And I'm going to go through the time here in a minute, because there's a time limit on this lease. But what happened in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve gave the lease over to the devil. They yielded to Satan's temptation. They took the forbidden fruit, and they literally passed this lease over to him. That's why the kingdom of darkness is set up on the earth right now. All over the world, there's a supernatural kingdom, the kingdom of darkness, that is operating on this planet because Adam and Eve turned their lease over to the devil. Now it has a certain time, it will run out, thank God, but it's still limited to the planet Earth, and it's still limited to a certain amount of time. Now we don't know what the time frame is, but like this office where I am right now, we found this office space, and we signed a lease. And on the lease, it's specified. The exact square footage of this office is specified. It's on a document. We agreed to it. And then there's a time limit. It's a 5-year lease. So it started when we signed the lease, and it goes for 5 years. Well, for that period of time, I'm in charge of this space, and I can do whatever I want.